Hi, I'm Holly and welcome to Hollywood Studios. Here's an instructional clip from my Patreon. It looks pretty good. This is a laser jet print. I had this printed at FedEx. You can also get it printed at Staples. All of their printers are laser jet, and this is considered tabloid size. And you can see it's a laser jet because you can see that the image where the ink transferred onto the paper is a little bit shiny. It is kind of like a plasticky film as opposed to a regular printer you would have maybe at home that transfers ink into the paper. This is like a film that's rolled on. And the photo transfer process uses the matte medium, which is going to take that film off and transfer it to your paper. This is matte medium by Golden. This is Canson watercolor paper, 140-pound paper. The heavier the paper, the better. You have your watercolor paper. Aside from your image and your matte medium, you're going to need a brush. They leave some really cool brush marks. So you can see the brush strokes in this image. I already have one prepared, so it's not going to be the image. I'm going to show you how to do this step so we don't have to wait for drying time. I'm going to take my matte medium. I have my paper here, and depending on your image, you might want to up and down portrait style, or you can do side to side. It's up to you. That's a personal choice, and also depending on what image you're using. But again, I have my laser print, and I'm going to set that aside and put the this is the Golden matte medium, and I'm just going to pour a little bit on here. You don't want too much, but that's about the right amount right there. And then you have a chip brush, and you just want to smooth out your medium where you want your image to be. And again, it's kind of where you make these brush strokes, you're going to possibly see them in your image when it comes time to remove the image. And I have a different image ready to go, just so we have it. So take your image, and you want to flip it face down. And just know that this is going to be in reverse. So if it has words or something, you need to print it in reverse so it comes out the right way. Smooth it out with your hand. I even let it curl a little bit on the edges. I don't need a straight edge on the image. It just can be a little bit more organic that way. Okay, and you want to let this dry. So it needs at least a couple of hours to dry completely. But I have an image that's already dry. It's not going to be shared. This is going to be a different image. It's Edie Sedgwick actually, but you want to make sure it's bone dry. And the way you can tell that is if you run your hand across it, and if it's not cold, that means it's dry. It's just bone dry. And if it's wet, you can feel with your hand. It's kind of moist and kind of cold, so you know it's not ready yet. The other thing you're going to need is a spray bottle, or just a little cup of water on hand. And you just want to spray enough on the image. You can see it starting to come through. And you're going to start taking the image off. And the only way to do this is just to really get in and use a little bit of elbow grease. There's no easy way to do it. It's my dog, Yoshi. Just ignore him. And you just keep rubbing until you get pure black. And all the paper is gone, and all that's left on the watercolor paper is the ink. And this takes a while, so just keep at it, and you'll know it's not ready when it dries and it starts to cloud up again. That means you need just to rub a little bit more. You can always add more water. And now I'm starting to see some of the brush marks. I don't know if you can see that, but there's like these little white streaks, and that's from the paintbrush. And this does make a crummy mess, so on occasion you'll have to like scoop them away and throw away the crumbs and just keep going. Right here already, I'm seeing some really cool brush marks in here, which I love. This is not a process for someone who needs precision, like 100% pure image. This is a very kind of vintage style or crackly style, which I think is very beautiful and very effective. Also, I should say, if you don't have matte medium, or if you want to just try something else, you can even, here's one that I did using acrylic paint as the matte medium. The acrylic paint works too to grab the laser ink, and the rest of the paper lets go the rest of the paper. So that's an option. I should mention though, you want to use an acrylic that has a heavier body to it, not liquidy craft paint, but like real thick paint that comes out of the tube, kind of like the consistency of toothpaste. And you can also, if you don't have a laser jet image and you just want to use something else, you can use, a lot of times this works with magazine papers. It grabs the ink from the magazine, because those magazines are printed with the laser jet also, and it comes off like a film. Alright, so I've got most of the paper off and only the ink remains, and as you can see, there's some really cool effects in the image, like the brush strokes, like I was telling you. It's still clouding up a little bit as it dries, and I can always keep removing that, but I think I'm going to stop here. If you want to see the full video, click the link below to my Patreon and like and subscribe.